By the end of 2026, you've probably noticed that the three biggest AI assistants all claim to be the best, but they're actually really different tools. So today I'm breaking down exactly which one works best for what you actually need to do. Hey, I'm Mark, and if you've been confused about which AI to use, this is the video that'll finally clear it up. Let's start with the honest truth. There's no single winner here. It's like asking whether a hammer is better than a screwdriver. They're solving different problems for different people. But what's changed since 2024 is that these three have gotten way more specialized, and their strengths have become even more obvious. So let's dig in. First up, ChatGPT. OpenAI's flagship has always been the most general purpose, and in 2026 that's still true, but with a twist. ChatGPT is now the fastest and most accessible option. If you want something quick, intuitive, and that just works without any friction, ChatGPT is probably your answer. It's the most like talking to someone who gets context quickly and can jump between topics without getting confused. What makes ChatGPT stand out for most people is that it's become incredibly smooth at creative work. If you're writing stories, brainstorming marketing copy, or need something that feels natural and human-like, ChatGPT's still leading here. The conversation feels less robotic, more like you're actually bouncing ideas off someone. Plus, their integration with the web, with voice, with image generation through DALL-E, it all just works together seamlessly. But here's where ChatGPT has a weakness that matters. It's not the deepest thinker. When you throw really complex problems at it, things that need step-by-step reasoning or multiple layers of logic, ChatGPT can get a little surface level. It'll give you an answer fast, but not always the most thorough one. Now let's talk Claude. Anthropic's creation is the one that's gotten genuinely smarter in ways that matter for serious work. Claude is the thoughtful one. If ChatGPT is your creative friend, Claude is your research buddy. Claude excels at reading massive documents, understanding nuance, and giving you reasoning that's actually transparent. You can see how it's thinking through a problem. In 2026, Claude's biggest strength is in analysis and technical depth. If you're dealing with code, research papers, legal documents, or anything that requires deep comprehension and accuracy, Claude will outthink the others. It's less likely to hallucinate, it's more careful with facts, and when it's wrong, it'll usually tell you it's unsure instead of confidently making something up. Claude also has this weird superpower now with context windows. It can genuinely understand enormous documents without losing the plot halfway through. That matters if you're someone who works with long-form content, research, or anything where the full picture is essential. The trade-off? Claude is slower. It thinks more, which means it takes longer to give you an answer. And for quick, casual stuff, that extra thoughtfulness feels like overkill. Also, Claude doesn't have the same level of creative flair that ChatGPT does. It's more precise, less poetic. Then there's Gemini. Google's entry into this space has been the underdog story of 2025 and 2026. A lot of people slept on Gemini, but it's become genuinely competitive, and here's why. It's the most integrated into your actual digital life. If you use Google Workspace, Gmail, Google Drive, or you're already in the Google ecosystem, Gemini works with all of that natively. It knows your documents, your email patterns, your schedule. Gemini's also the most multimodal by default. It handles images, video, audio, and text with a fluency that the others are still catching up to. If you're working with mixed media, Gemini can be the most natural choice. What's cool about Gemini in 2026 is that it's become the middle ground. It's not as creative as ChatGPT, not as analytically deep as Claude, but it's solid across the board. And if you're someone who values speed and integration over specialization, Gemini's actually really underrated. The downside is that Gemini still feels a bit like Google's second priority sometimes. The interface is good, but the ecosystem feels less polished than OpenAI's, and it doesn't have the same cult following driving constant improvements. So let's get practical. Here's my breakdown for what you should actually use. If you're a creative professional, a writer, a marketer, someone who needs ideas to flow and wants something that feels collaborative and natural, go with ChatGPT. It's the most enjoyable to work with, and it's genuinely better at making things sound good. If you're doing serious technical work, research, analysis, coding at scale, or anything where accuracy and depth matter more than speed, Claude is your tool. It'll think harder and give you better reasoning. If you're already deep in Google's ecosystem and you want something that just integrates with your whole life without friction, Gemini makes sense. It's also the best choice if you're working with video or complex multimedia. But here's what I think most people should actually do. Use more than one. Seriously, they're all free or cheap enough that having ChatGPT for your creative work, Claude for your research, and Gemini for your daily integrated stuff is totally reasonable. They're not really competing, they're complementing each other. One more thing that matters in 2026, privacy. If you care about what happens to your data, Claude has the strongest reputation for privacy and for not using your conversations to train their model. ChatGPT and Gemini both use your data in ways that are transparent but worth knowing about. So if privacy is a deal breaker for you, that's actually a significant point in Claude's favor. The real answer to which AI is best is this. The best AI is the one that solves your actual problem. And in 2026, you finally have options that are good enough that you can pick based on your needs instead of just picking the popular one. So here's my challenge to you. Try all three this week. Spend an afternoon with each one. Give them the same prompt and see which one's answer actually helped you more. You'll probably find that you naturally gravitate toward one, or more likely, you'll find yourself using different ones for different things. That's the real story of AI in 2026. If this helped you figure out which AI to actually use, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments which one you're team captain for. I genuinely want to know what works best for your workflow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.